he's one of those musicians that is, I am a musician. That's what I am. And he's from the church. You know, his mama is a pastor, and he plays at church. You know, and he's just a musician. This is what I do. If I put out an album, cool. You know, but this is just what he does. You know, and he's not a big fan of rushing anything, as you know. So
there are stories that shake the world, and then there are stories that the world tries to bury. This one was never meant to be heard. Angie Stone's truth died on the side of a dark highway. Her voice silenced forever, or so they thought. But 4 months later, another voice vanished. The voice of a man who once sang about love, pain, and redemption, Dangelo. People said it was cancer, but those who knew him say something else. They say Dangelo knew he was next. They say he saw it coming. And the night before he disappeared, he made one final call. Not to his family, not to his friends, but to her. Erykah Badu, the woman the industry calls the spiritual queen, a healer, a believer, a woman who has always been drawn to the light and haunted by the dark. When Dangelo's voice broke over the phone, he whispered, "They're coming for me." Erykah paused and said only 6 words. "They've already marked your soul, baby." And then silence. Hours later, Dangelo vanished from the public eye. Days later, news broke. He was dead. Coincidence? Or another warning from an industry that never forgives those who speak too much? The truth about what really happened that night is darker than anyone can imagine. Because this isn't just about music anymore. It's about survival. They say history repeats itself, but in this case, it felt like a curse. Angie Stone had been fighting battles the world could never see, against a system that fed on her voice, her soul, her success. She stood alone, daring to call out names that had ruled the industry for decades. People laughed at first, but when she said, "If something happens to me, just know they did it," no one realized those would be her last words to the world. Weeks later, her car flipped on a lonely highway at 4 a.m. 8 people survived. Only Angie didn't. To the world, it was an accident. To those who truly knew her, it was an execution. And then came Dangelo, the man who gave the world Untitled, How Does It Feel?, who redefined soul music for a generation. He was never the type to chase headlines. He hid from fame, avoided interviews, and stayed close to the church where his music began. But after Angie's death, something inside him broke. He stopped performing, stopped recording, and, according to friends, began whispering one haunting phrase again and again. "They're coming." He wasn't sick. He wasn't dying. At least, that's what everyone thought. Until one quiet night, he made a call. Not to a doctor, not to his manager, but to Erykah Badu. Erykah had always been different. Mysterious. Spiritually awake in a way that both fascinated and scared people. She was the kind of woman who could make you believe that energy itself had power to heal or to destroy.
No one knows what they talked about that night.
But hours later, Dangelo's phone went dark. And days after that, headlines screamed across the world. Dangelo dead after secret battle with cancer. His family said it was natural. Fans cried foul. Because deep down, everyone remembered Angie's warning. And now, her prophecy seemed to be repeating itself.
2 voices gone.
2 souls silenced. And one chilling question still echoing through every studio, every stage, and every whispered rumor in the industry. Who, or what, were they really running from? There's a reason Dangelo picked up that phone. It wasn't just fear, it was guilt. Because deep inside, he believed Angie's death was his fault. In his final weeks, people close to him noticed a terrifying change. The man once full of soul, faith, and poetry had turned into a shadow of himself. His eyes looked empty, his words carried weight, and his nights were filled with sleepless guilt. He'd whisper to friends, "They warned me. I should have stopped her." But stopped her from what? That's the question nobody wanted to answer. 4 months before Angie's death, she had started working on something called The List. It was rumored to contain names, powerful people from inside the industry, the ones who controlled, manipulated, and destroyed artists when they refused to obey. Dangelo begged her to stay quiet. He told her, "You can't win against them, Angie. They own everything." But she didn't listen. She said, "If I die, you'll know why." After her car crash, Dangelo broke. He vanished from studios, cut off interviews, and refused to meet anyone. Friends said he spent his nights crying in the church basement where he used to play as a child. And then one night he made that call. He called Erykah Badu, not because she was a friend, but because she was the only one who ever told him the truth about the spiritual war in the music world. "You think they only control money and fame?" she once said. "They control souls too." According to one of Erykah's close friends, Dangelo's voice was shaking. He said, "I feel her here. Angie's not gone. She's trying to tell me something." He begged Erykah to help him block the darkness, saying he was seeing shadows in his house, hearing her songs play by themselves, and feeling like someone was always watching him. Erykah told him to leave the city, to come to her that night. But he didn't make it. By morning, he was gone. They called it a peaceful passing. But his phone was found still clutched in his hand, the call log showing one last dialed number, Erykah Badu. And that's when people realized Dangelo didn't call to save his life. He called because he already knew they were coming for him next. They say when someone knows their time is near, their voice changes. And when Dangelo called Erykah that night, his voice wasn't the same. It trembled. It broke between every word, like a man standing at the edge of something no one else could see. He said, "They're closing and it's happening again, Erykah." For a few seconds, she didn't understand. But when he mentioned Angie's name, the line went silent. Completely still, like even the air had stopped moving. Erykah whispered, "Dee, what did you find out?" And that's when he said something that would haunt her forever. "The same people who took her are coming for me too." He told her about the messages, the cars parked outside his house every night, the contracts he never signed but somehow had his name on them.
I never get it. At least you heard it from me, because I don't know what they might do to keep from paying me all the money they owe me. Attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me. However, I was treated and God healed me, cleared up.
He said Angie had left him a file that could end everything. But that file disappeared the night she died. For weeks, Dangelo tried to stay quiet. He stopped going out, stopped recording. Friends said he looked empty, like he was singing to ghosts. But behind those eyes, there was something deeper, guilt. He couldn't protect Angie. And now, he couldn't protect himself. Erykah told him to meet her the next morning. She promised she'd perform a cleansing ritual to shield him spiritually. But that meeting never happened, because that night he vanished. No phone records, no security footage, nothing. When the news broke days later that Dangelo had died of natural causes, fans cried. But those who knew him didn't buy it. His last message to Erykah was just 5 words. "If they call you, run." And now, the same forces that silenced Angie and Dangelo are still out there, watching, waiting. The question is, who will speak next before they're silenced too? If you've watched this far, take a moment to breathe, because this story isn't just about Dangelo or Angie. It's about every artist who spoke truth and paid the price for it. Behind the lights, awards, and music, there's a darkness no one wants to talk about. And Dangelo knew that. That's why he made that call, not out of fear, but out of desperation. He wanted someone, anyone, to hear him before the silence took over. But you know what hurts the most? The world moved on. No headlines, no justice, just silence. And that's exactly why this story matters. Because if we don't talk about it, they win again. So before you scroll away, hit subscribe, share this story, and keep this voice alive. Because maybe the truth isn't gone. It's just waiting for someone brave enough to ask, who's next?